Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon. Welcome to Mystic Moons. I hope everyone is doing well. Today we're going to check out something, rumors, statements, reports. And right now, there's been a report floating around that Joe Biden, President of the United States, 46th President of the United States, has been senile from day one. Day one. Now, that does sound unbelievable, except you have to admit there's a lot of suspicious circumstances. But what does that mean in actuality? To become the president of the most powerful country to date in the world, you have to be senile. What does that say? What does that say about every single lawmaker who has worked with this senile person, man? Does it mean that men get a pass no matter what they are? Even a skeleton, a frame of a man is better than anything a woman could offer? What does it mean? It means so many things. It's unfathomable. So, friends, colleagues, fellow civilians, and others, let's take a psychic journey and find out that if in fact Joe Biden has been senile from day one of his presidency, which was in dispute, is this a coup to undo the last 4 years of everything that has been done? Now, mind you, there's sufficient proof of some strange, awkward behavior of Joe Biden. The walk cycle, the confusion, the getting lost. I mean, how many businesses could survive such a leader? Even such an investor? Is it responsible? And then there's other questions. This story is not just coming from like small town USA. No. Or the red belt of the country. No. It's coming from all over. Joe Biden has lost his mind before he was even elected president, which is why they kept him in the basement, in the cellar, in the garage. Now, I emphasize that. The point is they've been keeping him under wraps. You can't have total access. And what does that say about the First Lady? What does that say about his wife, Jill? I mean, excuse me? And just what has been happening the last 4 years? Other than $20 trillion more in debt, getting rid of like a lot of useless weapons, 500,000 or 1 million people been killed, cities have been ravished. Why? Because we've had a senile president? A senile millions? How many millions? 100 million almost immigrants. Our borders have been flooded by anything and everything that's been crossed over, even though we, the United States civilians, can't go to their country without having 60K in the bank on a steady basis, as well as some other things. They have tight regulations for Americans try to emigrate to the countries that the people here just freely come and stay in 4-star hotels, eats and everything else included. Hi. Yes, I'm just wondering how can this have, how is this is this a big secret, or is it just a ha? Is this a coup? I want to know if this is a coup to undo the last 4 years. Now, I'm not even saying is Joe Biden or lost his mind. Even though it took him a long time to refer to himself as president and not Obama or Kamala. All right, let's start out with the pussycats, the pagan pussycats, and find out if this is indeed Was this indeed a coup? A coup? Is a coup? Is this an attempt to get even with? Is this by Trump people attempt to get even? Of course, I can't believe. I know Trump's pretty popular, but is he this popular to like say, "Hey, Joe Biden is bonkers"? Of course, it's well known. Like he's had so much plastic surgery, and he has had doubles, and I think he's even had a robot or two, considering that walk on the beach, walk cycle. But is this one big theater? This whole thing? Okay, let's just take a few cards and let's try and see, is this a coup going on? Is this a coup? Are we really this much in danger? I mean, we have drones in the sky that I don't know nothing. I don't know. Don't know. Is that the Q word for the 1920 2020, not 1920, 2020 and 2024? No, nothing. I don't know. Maybe that's going to be our motive. Motto. That's the wrong word. I'm not pronouncing it correctly, but you don't understand. Motto. That's right. Motto. Is that our Q word? Like Trump is making America great again. And the Biden regime has been, I don't know. Well, again, we have don't know. However, there's reports from the medical teams and his staffers who have sought to be his fence, his bodyguards, his body mass. Body mass, meaning don't get too close. It's very hard to get close to somebody if there's a few bodies in front between you and him. It's very, very hard. Okay, now we have 4 cards here. Let's just see. Let's just start the investigation. Has there or has there not been a coup? Is there a coup right now happening to disqualify every single thing that Biden has done in the last 4 years because he was not in control? Then we'll find out who. Now the first thing we have is the 2 of Wands. The 2 of Wands. Look out. Meaning this could be the beginning of the investigation of the reality of what we've been living under for the 4 years. Maybe this is an attempt to undo everything. Look out. Who's behind this coup? That's the question. Who's behind the coup? Who was the coup? Have we ever been in control, American people? Have you ever been in control of selecting your governments? Look at this one. The 10 of Wands. That's like a big secret that can no longer be contained. That is also suspicious. Very suspicious. In other words, they can't keep the secrets locked up anymore. And here we have the Hierophant. We have who's running the show. Whoever is running the show is packing up to go somewhere, connecting, advising all of the peons, the first lieutenants, the second squad, the third tier of people to go and patch up things. Patch up things as best you can. Patch them up. So the next card that we have here is the Fool. The Fool. Anybody can be a president. Anybody can play the role. All you need to do is to have ceremony, pomp, and circumstance. And in the end, yes, there's somebody else pulling the strings. This is the Hermit. I would say, based on this read right here, has there been a coup? Well, they knew that the bubble was going to burst. They knew it. And they've been on the lookout. And it's been a drag to hold it up. I mean, they had a little bit of camouflage, a little bit of like air coming out of the already bursting balloon with Kamala coming on the scene. And she was supposed to do what she didn't do, and it didn't happen. But maybe it did happen the way it was supposed to happen to give more of a pizzazz to the next incoming leader, Trump. Who knows? But we do know that we're being manipulated. We have the Hermit, the Fool, the Hierophant. Look at all these high level cards. Okay, just dealing with these three things. There's one person behind the scenes, and there's a lot of theater, and it was directed by one person who had a steady, loyal team. I would say that. Now, this could be Obama. This could have been any rich trillionaire, quadrillionaire. You get what I mean. Most money in the world. Could the most money in the world buy anything? Buy our hearts and minds and slave actions? Well, they were always ready for the balloon to be popped. Always ready. Always ready. And in fact, that's what's happening now. Now, could this be an attempt to derail or just to discredit? Could this be an avenue to get the J6 people in prison out of prison? That they were right all along? Or that this coup, it was not Joe Biden who was elected. How can Joe Biden be elected if he was mentally incompetent? Therefore, there has been no president for 1946 president. There's been no president. How do we deal with that? There's just been like a secret group of people, with posers and theaters. Now, who's responsible ultimately? Can this fall on Jill? Could Hunter Biden be so far? Can the apple fall so far away from the tree? No. Is this a coup? A coup for revelation? To show what we have been living under? A coup against corruption? We have to ask all these questions. A coup against corruption. Let's try another deck. Let's try this deck. Let's just take about a few cards from here. Now, is this a coup? How can there be a coup if there's been corruption? That you can ask yourself. That's logic. How can it be a coup if Joe Biden has in fact been senile? In fact, he has always had his own way of articulating, his own way of making snappy judgments, and he has been progressive. And in fact, he was already ruled. He was too mentally declined to have another successive 4 years. I'm making up my own words, maybe. Maybe I have the Joe Biden. But the fact of the matter is we all know that anyone can have their brains fried at any age. But the point of the matter was, don't you think they should have taken a psychological test? Well, they didn't care to, because they wanted this group run by one powerful, rich person. Who is that one? We can just guess. For now, we'll just guess. All right, now let's take 3 cards and see if this is an attempt to devalue every single thing that couple, the Bidens, have done, Joe Biden, in the last 4 years. Is this an attempt? All right, we took 4 cards. Let's see. Again, we have this waiting. Same thing, 2 cards, 2 different decks, waiting. They're on the outlook for the signs of the crumble, the signs of the revelation. Ooh, look at this one. Again, we have here the King of Cups. You see this? The King of Cups. And we have the Tower. I don't think this is a good tower either. Look at this. We have the Tower and we have the waiting. Pretty similar to the last deck we picked. We have the waiting. We have the 10 of Wands. Yes. I think that this is something big is going down. More bigger than the drones looking for radiation spikes. This is bigger. Our whole system is crumbling. The fact that we've had on the world stage to represent us a senile, not in control puppet figurehead. We might as well have had Sesame Street running the scene, Big Bird, right? For all the intel, for all the fanfare. Fans. How many fans can you be? It's also cruel. It's cruel to take a decaying, mentally decaying elder person and to push him around as though he was a puppet, a piece of luggage, a meat suit, and use him for whatever foul gains that were made. It's also very cruel, very cruel. Yes, I think that we are in the process of either growing up and tearing down. And it stinks. It stinks. It stinks. So I would say yes, there is a coup. There is something going on right now to devalue, depreciate, erase, perhaps, the last 4 years because they were done under false premise. False premise. All right. So right now we can just say that it's more than suspicious. Something's going down. And yes, it's an attempt. And it's working. It's working. Because we all have the videos. We've all seen the videos. We've seen the speeches. And basically, who's responsible for this? Who is responsible for this charade? Who is responsible? That's the question now. Who is responsible? Maybe Jill was just doing what she was told to do, and she had no way of not doing it. Everybody's blaming her as though she was the Eve. She ate the apple and got us out of the garden of Eden of mental and blindness, mental rapture. As though it's been so great the last 4 years. Lockdown, 6 feet apart. Let me see your past. Let me do this. Let me do that. Are we headed to one way to like nowhere? Let's get this country together and find out exactly what's been happening. So right now we can say that there isn't a strong attempt. There is an attempt. It is happening right now to undo, to evaluate the last 4 years. And no other president has gone out of the office with such humiliating revelations. Put it that way. Well, thank you very much. And until the next time we discuss these matters about where we have been. Politically, we have to dissect and see where things are going. That way the country can rebuild and go somewhere. And apparently it's happening in all NATO countries, France, Germany, England. The list goes on. The list goes on. Point is, does power make someone mentally ill? Having power. That's a question that we have to leave with the philosophers, or we can take time at another time to understand the nature, the dynamics of power. But right now we could see that this man had dementia from his doctor's reports since day one. Day one. And yet we blindly follow the system. Now, who does that show that's mentally ill? Biden and him, or us? Us that followed a government that was led, at least by appearances only, by a man who is and was mentally senile. All right? Thank you very much. Let's ponder these facts until the next time. Mystic Moons is signing out.